Welcome back to Crafted Reality, a podcast by Yellow Brick, with me, Allie Julian, and my podcasting partner, Julian Sykes. This month, we catch up on some of the projects that we are doing at the moment, as well as things that are capturing our attention. And as always, if you are enjoying the podcast, please give us a like and a share with anyone that you think may be interested. And also don't forget, we have a Patreon page, so please check us out on that. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Shall we talk about another subject?
Yeah, let's mix it up.
Okay, so we are going to call this Wednesday Club, but it might be Thursday Club because we don't know what day it is. So we've been talking a bit about maybe making... Okay, so in a number of the podcasts we mentioned and have mentioned in episode 1, people mentioned about their process and people mentioned about making things and making things in different ways. And then we've been talking about maybe we could do the podcast in different ways as well. So we were wondering whether we could do something that is the podcast and process, as in making something at the same time. And many years ago, it's probably almost 10 years ago now, when we were part of Fancourt, we'd meet every Wednesday as a group of individuals that had basically come together to maybe respond or create projects based on people's interests and things like that. And sometimes you'd lead a project, other times you just do whatever that person told you to do because you were there to try and to help that person, realize what they wanted to do. We did loads of different projects, like some big, some small. Some took days, some took months, some took years. There was no real kind of, we didn't do that, we did that. The only thing that they all kind of had in common was in some shape or form, they were trying to make something in a socially good sense or making something slightly better. So we were wondering whether we could do some form of live podcast with people in a room, having conversations, record that, and then try and just see what happens, with the idea that people might start coming together, building projects, that kind of stuff. We would do it in Cardiff city centre, at a location to be confirmed, maybe here, but we'll confirm that. And this is the first time anyone's heard about it other than myself and Ali. So I guess it's kind of a conversation as to whether people would be interested in becoming involved. And I think the only requirements would be that we really don't know, but let's say like every 2 weeks or every month or something like that, we would come together on a Wednesday or Thursday. It would be called Wednesday Club or Thursday Club, really well named. We would put the record on, we might live stream it. We definitely live stream the audio, we might live stream the video. And maybe it's a way of kind of opening up the creative process to people, and also maybe just a different way of making. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it'd be quite nice to create a space to gather.
Another gentle gathering.
Maybe with some food, maybe not with some food.
Basically, this is just gentle gathering too, isn't it?
But yeah, I think we were talking about this the other day in relation to a project. There's not many spaces to kind of, be with a community. So, I guess there's theatre, and then there's kind of a more of a shift, I guess, to people eating out and doing that.
But I guess they feel still quite transactional, don't they, in a sense? Like you're going to do absolutely this. Yeah. And maybe this is why this will fail, because people find it quite hard to visit abstract places. Yeah. And that's what we've always found, isn't it? Yeah. People are like, so what do I need to do? And it's like, nothing. And that actually, that's like harder. Yeah. You give them direction and things like that, and they're much more secure by that. And then other times you're like, no, you don't. And then people came and went, didn't they, with Think Arc Wednesday? Yeah, I mean, I am excited to see what happens. So I guess this is a call to action. Yeah. We're not wedded to anything we just said. I think the core things that we do want to do, though, are, I think we've stopped making small things that have helped us think about the world. I think I'd say. And so we maybe want a space to be able to do that. We thought also there's a lot of stuff out there that you see about creative process and ways of working and things like that. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like it necessarily resonates with how I work. And so thinking maybe if we live streamed it or shared it online in some shape or form, maybe edited afterwards, that could also be beneficial to other people. And in terms of the stuff that we would be kind of like looking to make, I guess it's everywhere from, I guess, workshopping, social design, through to theatre, through to games, through to theatre. Generally those kind of 3 pillars of work. I guess there's community art in there. All of those kind of things. So if people are interested in that sounds suitably obscure and undefined, but you're okay and you're interested in doing that, then we would love to hear from you. As I said, it would be, we think physical is important, so it would be Cardiff based, but if we do end up streaming, then there might be a live chat and stuff like that. So we have done previous stuff where we've had live chats within pieces, and that's kind of worked quite well. So yeah, if that sounds of interest, let us know in the comments, and we'll also we'll be sending an email out through the Yellow Brick newsletter in the next few weeks. In terms of when we would start that, I think it'd be more likely March, April, because of there's a few bits and pieces we need to wrap up and might go on holiday and stuff like that. So maybe something along those lines, but not 100% sure yet. Maybe more April, actually, I think, isn't it? I think
April is probably more realistic.
Yeah. Which gives us loads of time to kind of maybe chat about it a bit more, maybe form it. But then maybe we have some initial things before April to kind of say what we think it could be, with other people coming and saying what they think it could possibly be or what they'd be interested in.
Sounds good.
Anything else on that?
No.
Okay.
Sounds great. Okay.
So the next thing was going to be
The Field Season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2. So some of you may remember last year we released the year before. The year before. Oh my gosh, the year before last, we released a narrative non-linear experience called The Field. We have been beavering away behind the scenes to create, in collaboration with Heaven Robinson, season 2. So everything is currently scripted, and we were thinking of releasing that last year, but there's been a little bit of a delay, but that's good news, because we are kind of just thinking back on season 1 and the things that we really liked about season 1, but then also what we wanted to build and create anew for season 2. So I guess this bit of time has given us that space to just kind of reconsider how we, I guess, develop the auditory or the sonic environment for The Field Season 2. So I think we are looking at ways in which we can maybe create more of a texture to the world this time around. So we're looking to be developing that over the next few months, with a view to launching season 2 at the end of the year.
Oof.
I know, I've just committed to that.
Yeah, I think it was when we did season 1, the way we built it was the idea that we were kind of like chopping up an episode and then kind of like randomly assigning little slices of one main episode across others. Sorry about that. And we were experimenting with the idea of a fractured audio narrative. And I think what happened was it actually felt not too dissimilar to just standard audio experiences in the sense of audio dramas and things like that. And the fractures often, the idea of the fracturing was kind of almost to be a little bit like your brain, where you're kind of like pinging between ideas and memories and things like that. And in some ways, the meticulousness and the arbitrary way that we were chopping episodes up, in some ways maybe made it a little bit too regimented and a little bit less random than kind of what we were looking at or feeling, or for me, and I'm talking on behalf of myself, like feeling like how I wanted it to feel. So I think the season 2, as Ali said, it's been written, and I think we've got like episodes and scenes that are much more contrasting in both length and feel and narration and story. So some, in many ways, in a historical sense, have a lot of story. Often ones have no story, but they have a feeling. Others are like a mixture of both, and all these different kind of almost types of genre in a sense. And maybe genre is not the right word, but all these individual bits kind of feel all very different. And I think we are we have definitely 100% nailed the story, and we've got scripts, but we're still very much now then thinking about ways in which we can, I guess, output that script. And we're kind of like playing around with different ways of introducing the story and the arc to try and make it feel, as I said, like this really, for me anyway, this kind of emergent kind of experience. That, again, it's an experience rather than definitively one thing. It will be delivered in audio, but it would be, that, for example, there's some scenes where it's just 6 minutes of being in the countryside and listening to sheep and some flies buzz by. And then there's other bits which are high octane kind of running, but it might be just the running you hear rather than anything else. So I think that's kind of like where we want to take it. We want to see if that works. It is an experiment, it always has been, but it feels like it needs to be more extreme like that than it does and I say in quotes, a standard audio drama, because there's just so much out there, and if I'm honest, I've been listening to many of the audio dramas that people have kind of noted as being, good or, excellent. And while you can see and feel the finish, and maybe they all have that standard way of telling the story, and it often feels maybe not what I was hoping to tell in some ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Because you've always spoken about feel and experience in many of the audio pieces that we've made in the past. And then we've spoken about a lot of things with how we release this thing, haven't we? Where maybe even we're experiencing and releasing just bits as well, like not necessarily. So maybe we are going back to the fragmented thing, but literally putting the fragments out rather than then chunking into an episode. We're really not sure.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone's kind of, if I was to describe it, maybe it's like someone's got a big tray, and on that tray they've got lots of different things like condiments, knives, forks, cutlery, cups, whatever. And if you think of them, if you think of them as fragments of different audio, someone's then just kind of like just chucked them on the floor, and then you just randomly see them and you just pick them up in any order. So I feel like maybe we're kind of thinking about that. And then Heaven's been kind of thinking also, how do you make the thing a bit more curated in some respects? So there's kind of really interesting kind of tension between those two things. And we're going to be I think we're going to be playing around with the script a bit more this time in terms of trying things, recording things, and kind of trying things out. So if that's of interest, then do sign up to our newsletter to keep up to date with that, because we only recorded once just to get a sense of it last time, and then we recorded the final piece. But I think this time we might end up recording this in 3 or 4 different ways, 3 or 4 different times, and then kind of asking people if they're interested in kind of listening to some bits. That was my stomach then. I wonder if that came through in audio. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
What have you been watching, reading, listening to of late?
What have I been watching, reading, listening?
Any recommendations?
The one I would definitely recommend is Wonder Man.
Oh, yeah.
I've very much enjoyed that. Oh, that was my stomach again. Oh, God, that's really bad. Yeah, Wonder Man. I've very much enjoyed that. They're very short episodes. It's funny because it's hardly any superhero in that. So it's a Marvel TV series on Disney for anyone who is unaware. Just a really good, I guess, bromance between the two main characters. And I've not ever been an actor, and I've definitely not been an actor in Hollywood, but my stomach again. I've never been an actor, and I've not ever been an actor in Hollywood, but I imagine that feels exactly like what it is to go and do endless interviews and rehearsals and auditions and those kind of things. And I mean, you can speak to that more than I can, having had a past in acting and going for auditions and things. But yeah, you're a little bit old for self-tapes.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I didn't have to do any of those things. I had to physically go to auditions, even for TV, kind of just way back then. It wasn't a thing. Yeah. I mean, there was a thing, but not maybe as
much
ubiquitous as it is now.
I guess with a mobile phone, it's just way easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just much more accessible.
So yeah, Wonder Man, I've very much enjoyed. I think that's about it this year so far. How about you?
I have... What have I been... Well, yeah, Wonder Man. What have I been reading of late? I guess I've got a lot of books
that you've not read.
That I've not read on my list. So I've got a book on bogs, which I'm really excited by. Yeah. On my desk, ready to read. And I have also got a book on making art that you had bought me.
Is that the health one?
Yes.
Like whether art actually makes you healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can put the book names in the audio description.
So I've got stuff to read for sure.
Yeah.
And I haven't read any of it yet.
Yeah. My stomach is going. I need to get something to eat. And on that note, thanks for watching and listening.
Yep. See you on the next one.
Oh yeah, and I guess just one thing. We are still thinking about speakers. So if you do have any speakers in mind that you'd like us to interview, then do let us know. We are pretty busy at the moment with various projects, so it might be just me and Allie for a bit. But if there are people that you want us to try and get on the pod, then do let us know. And thanks for listening.
Ta-ta for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this month's Crafted Reality. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you did really enjoy the show, you can show your love and support on our Patreon. The link is in the show notes.